Rare organisms can play a critical role in the ecosystem, serving as pollinators, seed dispersers, and nutrient cyclers. Additionally, rare organisms can provide economic benefits, such as tourism revenue and pharmaceuticals derived from rare plants and animals. Climate change is a significant threat to rare organisms. Climate change is a major threat to biodiversity and rare organisms, as it can alter habitats and disrupt ecosystems. Rising temperatures, changing rainfall patterns, and more frequent natural disasters can all impact rare organisms and their habitats. Habitat fragmentation can be a significant threat. Habitat fragmentation occurs when natural habitats are divided into smaller and more isolated patches. This can make it more difficult for rare organisms to find food, mates, and suitable habitats, and can increase their risk of extinction. Collaboration is key to conserving rare organisms. Conserving rare organisms requires collaboration between government agencies, conservation organizations, scientists, and local communities. By working together, stakeholders can develop effective conservation strategies that address the complex challenges facing rare organisms. The loss of rare organisms can have cascading effects. The loss of rare organisms can have cascading effects on the ecosystem, leading to the loss of other species and alterations in ecosystem processes. For example, the loss of a pollinator species can impact plant reproduction, which can in turn impact the animals that rely on those plants for food. By understanding the importance of rare organisms and the threats facing them, we can develop effective conservation strategies to protect them. By conserving rare organisms, we can help to ensure the long-term health of the planet and the ecosystems that support us. Rare organisms can serve as indicators of environmental health. Rare organisms can serve as indicators of environmental health, as their decline or loss can indicate broader environmental problems. By monitoring the status of rare organisms, we can gain insight into the health of ecosystems and identify areas that require conservation attention. Invasive species can threaten rare organisms. Invasive species are non-native species that can cause harm to native species and ecosystems. Invasive species can compete with rare organisms for resources, alter habitats, and spread diseases. Managing invasive species is essential to protecting rare organisms and the ecosystems they rely on. Genetic diversity is important for rare organisms. Genetic diversity is important for rare organisms, as it can increase their ability to adapt to changing environmental conditions and resist disease. Maintaining genetic diversity can involve efforts such as captive breeding programs and genetic management. Rare organisms can have cultural significance. Rare organisms can have cultural significance for local communities, serving as symbols of cultural identity and traditional knowledge. Conserving rare organisms can help to preserve cultural heritage and promote cultural diversity. Conservation efforts can benefit both rare organisms and human communities. Conservation efforts can provide multiple benefits, including protecting rare organisms, maintaining ecosystem services, and promoting sustainable livelihoods for human communities. By working together, conservationists and local communities can develop conservation strategies that meet the needs of both people and the environment. In conclusion, rare organisms are essential components of the natural world, and their loss can have significant impacts on the health of ecosystems and human communities. Understanding the importance of rare organisms and the threats they face is critical to developing effective conservation strategies. By conserving rare organisms and their habitats, we can promote a healthy planet for current and future generations. Invasive species can threaten rare organisms. Invasive species are non-native species that can cause harm to native species and ecosystems. Invasive species can outcompete rare organisms for resources, alter habitats, and spread diseases. Invasive species management is an important component of conservation efforts aimed at protecting rare organisms and the ecosystems they rely on. Genetic diversity is important for rare organisms. Genetic diversity is essential for the long-term survival of rare organisms. Maintaining genetic diversity can involve efforts such as captive breeding programs and genetic management. These efforts can help to ensure that rare organisms have the ability to adapt to changing environmental conditions and resist disease.